Hello Tuesdays, this is take 3. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today is part 2, I believe, of the Life Miniatures 1 in 10 resin bust called The Few. Battle of Britain fighter pilot and his dog. For me, I'm doing this, as I keep saying, as a tribute to my own pup who passed away aged 10 2 years ago. His name is Barclay, and my pup's going to be painted black, the same as he was, and this is a tribute to him. All I've done since I've last seen you is stuck it all together, filled it, and I primed it yesterday. It's just the priming side of it. The filling was done a week back, something like that. And it's just taken a while to get the priming into my schedule time. Every time I think, right, priming the bust, something else comes along and I just run out of time. So it might be pretty pointless showing you this. It's just for you guys to see how a bust goes from, or how I paint a bust anyway, goes from the let's get it out the box to finished product. So I just think it's good to show all the aspects of it. So yes, it's just a primer stuck together in a primer, but at least you get to see. I'm not very good at filling and sanding, as we know. This probably isn't the best filled and sanded bust that you'll ever see, but we've all got to learn, haven't we? So learn along we have. Right, let's go and check it out. Right, guys, thanks for joining me at the bench. This is the Cocker Spaniel. My Barclay is what we call a working Cocker Spaniel, because I used to work him. They're slightly different from show spaniels with their big jewelly mouths and big jowls and things like that, and usually extra long ears. I'm not an expert on all these types of breeds. I just like this particular one type of working Cocker Spaniel. So this isn't exactly, but he's a Spaniel, and he's the next best thing I've got to represent my pup. And I'm desperately looking for my reading glasses, because I won't be able to see a thing without them. One moment. Oh, that's better. Right. He's been primered with the AK Real Primer, is it? Very good stuff. It's a lacquer primer, which is why I've been also waiting, because it stinks so much, obviously, like all lacquers. I've not been doing it late in the late afternoon or early evenings, just it stinks the house out. It's not fair on the wife. So he's had a grey primer in lacquer, but the top I have got a lacquer primer in black, but it always goes on shiny. It's the other AK one, and I don't like the shininess of it. So I've just gone over it with a model colour from Vallejo. I'll just thin that down with Vallejo thinner. So he's going to go over the shoulder, much like I've tried to depict him on here. My Barclay, I should have actually put a photograph up, but my little man, he's got a little white front to him. But apart from that, and he got a little smudge at the end of his nose. But yeah, that's our Spaniel done. As you can see, I don't think I've tried to get some of the filler slightly over, like the sculptor had represented it, with the fur going over the collar. Collar's only shown in parts. Can't really see a great deal on a black pop, but I haven't overdone this with white as I've done on the main bust, because he's going to be a black pop. And yes, black isn't black, but I didn't really see a need for that. I know where I'm going to be putting the highlights. Bit of grey there that I've missed with the black, but again, that doesn't bother me too much. So that's our Spaniel done. This is our face of our pilot. Sorry, I'm trying to knock things over here. Right, this is our bloke. I kept debating whether to leave the ear pieces. Obviously it's got the microphone bits in there, but the problem would be then, as I showed on the last one, there's quite large gaps that I had to fill. So if I'd have left them off so I could get in there with the brush easier, I would have then had to fill them afterwards. It was a bit of a pain in the bum, this one. So I've gone with sticking them on and filling them. Obviously, I didn't see the point in painting the insides, and then you'd have to try and paint the insides of his face as well. Then try and stick them on. Then you'd have to prime. It just was a no-goer for me. So also there's some very, very thin, well produced but thin resin cord that goes, obviously his electrics up to his microphone, and there's the tube that goes, thicker one that goes down. They would need bending, so I'm going to get some lead wire. Of course I've got 2 sets of lead wire and not one that really matches the resin. For the wire here, I'm going to actually get some copper wire. I've got some copper wire, twist it, then heat it to make it a bit more malleable. I'll still keep, there's nothing wrong with the resin ones, but it's just trying to get them to flex in you've got to heat them and then try and get them to flex. And I didn't want to put them on while I'm painting the rest, because they dangle in front of everything and you'd have a right game trying to get to which I'll show you in a bit, the torso. But I haven't gone to town on the white, just enough, because I'm going to be sketching all this anyway, so it's not going to make much of a difference. But again, we've gone in the shadow areas more. I don't think the filling around the ears the earpieces are too bad, because it's butted up underneath the strap fairly decent. It was mainly these end pieces that were the worst, and they don't seem too bad. So that's our pilot's head. I'm going to do that separately, because again, trying to get him on do the scarf and everything, I think is going to be a problem. Let's just adjust that slightly. I've literally put whether I use it or not, but I've been using his this comes with it as a stand piece to go on your plinth, and I've been using it because it's been good to hold. It's a bit bouncy there, so I probably wouldn't be painting directly onto it, because you don't want something moving. You need it attached quite firmly. But as you can see, what I've done is painted it grey again, then gone into the black, into the areas with the black. Especially tried to get, I haven't been successful in every part, but I've tried to get under the parachute harnesses and things, and in some of the crevices around the material. The jacket, you can still see a bit there, I think. There might be a bit there that need cleaning off. But that's obviously, you can see roughly where I put the join in. It's not too bad. I think when the paint goes on that, it will look like, you see there, it's going to look like it's part of the fabric of the jacket. The box art depicts it in this scarf. I'm going to work my way out, so I'll be doing the scarf first, I think. I'm going to go for the artwork shows blue, but I mean obviously it's a civilian scarf, do what you like, so I'm going to paint him green, I think. Green with either just green or green with white dots, and then obviously work our jumper, and then our jacket, and then start working on all the straps. Our life jacket as well, which will be in green. As I say, those early days they were green rather than the yellow ones that you saw later on. Put our parachute disc on that you punch or whatever to get out or turn. So yeah, that's all our priming done. Just show you quickly. I use this product, Magic Sculpt. These are almost empty now. Magic Sculpt, and then I got an old brush and used IPA alcohol to actually smooth things out and wipe things away when it wasn't needed. But I find with the alcohol, rather than the water, it evaporates a lot quicker. So you haven't got so much of a delay. So I make a little sausage, really thin little sausage, place it in the gap, and obviously if it's too big for the gap, obviously smooth it out, or you might have to put a couple of those little sausages in to fill the gap, and then get your brush dipped in IPA alcohol and just keep wiping it over until you get the texture and the smoothness that you want. And this is our bloke here, so he's got his blue silk scarf on there. I'll say mine's going to look nowhere as good as this one, but this is what I'm trying to achieve. So mine will look, I don't know about the blueness. I've seen some people do this in colours which to me weren't massively authentic for a Royal Air Force jacket. I mean, this one doesn't seem too bad. So mine will be roughly along those lines. I haven't got an RAF blue. It's just I'll just paint with what I think is looking good. And I still have to. The one thing when you're doing things like this, especially historicals, is quite fun doing the research. As in, don't just go off of the box art, because the box artist is going off his own research, and don't rely on somebody else's research. You might use it as a backup, but go out and do your own, because they may have gone off course on their research, or they might be using a colour for a particular artistic reason. So if you want something to look as near as the real historical thing, then obviously go and look up reenactors' pictures. There's reenacting groups that actually do Royal Air Force. They sit around at deck chairs in deck chairs and stuff, a bit like these guys in the background waiting to scramble. So have a look at those, see what they're wearing. Historical photographs, obviously a lot are in black and white, so they're not always as helpful. But I just want to make sure I've got all this right here with the inside of the helmet. Obviously make sure the straps are the right colours, and the life jacket. I mean, there's one on here, as we can see. We've got a darker one and a more faded one there, which is obviously, it's gone for the more faded one. So there we go. I'll leave that there for a second. So guys, thank you very, very much if you've been able to stick with this. It's not very interesting, I know. As I say, I will start. I'm not going to say like, oh, here's the scarf. I'll probably get a couple of things done and then say, just so it's a bit more interesting to look at. But I'll obviously be starting with the scarf and the jumper, and then we'll be working out like an ink spot, really. Look after yourselves. I don't know what's coming up in videos in the near future. As I say, I keep promising you those naps, and we'll get there. I've got 2 28mm plastic gauls from Victrix, ancient gauls, almost done. Just been painting the shields last night. I've got 2 halfway through and 2 yet to start. I've got 6 of those to do. Still got 4 Vietnam figures which are about to come out of the box again, and they just need the flesh doing and the bases doing and things, and that'll be something to show you. The tank still hasn't progressed any further. I will get an idea flashing into my head soon. I have got one. I just don't want to, as I say, I don't want to spend a load of time like on the Tiger base going to some giant rubbly base and all the rest of it. That's been my downfall a lot of the time, is I'm spending too much time, adding figures, and then because you've added figures, you really need to have a small base of some description, and it's just that side of my model making spiraling out of control a bit, and I need to rein that in. I think I need to now start doing more like I'd anticipated I'd always do, just build a vehicle, and have fun doing that, and just do dioramas and vignettes. I don't mind doing figure vignettes on bases, but when you start throwing all this, all the vehicles on it and stuff, it's I don't lose any mojo or anything like that. It's just I don't have the time in everything else I do to do it justice, and then I end up doing one project rather than enjoying doing 2 or 3 projects. So anyway, Look after yourselves. Hope to see your work up on the videos soon, and we'll catch each other at some point along the road on another video.